Well, happy Thursday, my friends, and I'm glad you've joined me today. It's a beautiful day. Rain, kind of surprising in our area. Rain has fallen today and just made the day even that much better. So glad you're with me today, and as I generally say, welcome to my little world, and come on in for a moment or two as we share a thought together. You know, Paul wrote to the church in Philippi, and he wrote him a beautiful letter. But among the things he wrote, he said, "Yes, indeed, I count all things lost for the excellence of the knowledge of Christ my Lord." In other words, whatever has happened to me in life, whatever I've lost, whatever I have to give up, whatever challenges have come my way, I, I don't think of that as important, because the knowledge of Christ is much more important. I think it's good for us to stop and think about the things that we count as really important, that are worth giving up other things to have in our lives. It's kind of like the idea, if you decide you're going to marry, a guy that decides he's going to marry gives up on all other women in life. Of course, most of you guys, you're lucky to even have one, but you know what I mean by that. When you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to a whole lot of others. And that's what Paul is saying. When I say yes to Christ, I, in a sense, am saying these other things are not any more important in my life. That doesn't necessarily mean I don't believe in their existence, but it just means they're not important in my life. That this is more important. It's kind of like when you have a family, have a wife, have children, and the children come into the world and they become a focus for your life. And ask anybody whose children they love more than any others. They love their own. Those are the most important children in the world. Absolutely. And that's the way we are about things. We should be. And how we look at our lives and reflect on our lives should be very important. And the people that are important in our lives. And it should be able to be recognized in our lives, shouldn't it? I came across one of those songs that kind of stood out several years ago when Destiny's Child sang their little song, "Say My Name." Not a song of wonderful lyrics or something like that, but it kind of catchy in the way that it goes, say my name, and they were known for their beats and their rhythms and so forth, and nice harmonies and so forth. Anyway, but I was thinking about the words to that song, say my name, if no one is around you, say baby, I love you, and so on. In other words, don't just say it to me. Let it be known to the world. There's a thought behind it. Again, not one of my favorite songs by any means, but still, the idea in that. Do you really mean what you say? Paul said in Philippians 1, a little bit earlier than what we read a while ago from Philippians 3, Paul said, "For me to live is Christ." The values and things that are important to him are the things that are lived in his life. And isn't that true of all of us? What's really important in your life? I think it was Og Mandino that said, if I've got the quote right, Og Mandino said that the thing we think about most is what we become most like in our lives. Anyway, close to that. It may not be an exact quote. But you think about it, how true it is. What is it that you talk about more than any other? What is it that's on your mind more than any other? Hopefully it's things of great value. And what Paul is trying to get across is the thing that has the most important and lasting value in our lives. And in his case, he says, it's Jesus Christ and attaining to that resurrection, that I might know him and the power of his resurrection. What a thought. I know in some senses the things that are of most value to us, we tend to, and pardon the expression, take for granted. They're there, they're accepted, they're a part of us. We don't have to spend all our time contemplating them because they are already a part of us. And I agree with that. But if we just let them grow lapse, other things have a way of invading our lives, don't they? And whether that's family, and that happens to a lot of marriages, we need to have it in the forefront. We need to have it on our minds. We need to think about it. We need to think about it night and day. It will be important to us. So what I'm trying to say to you is don't just say my name when you're around me, but say my name even when you're not around me. Isn't that the thought of the song? Say my name and really say my name. Let people know who you trust, who you love, who you believe in. And that's what Paul is trying to do, even as he writes. He says, listen, I want you to know that these other things that have been and maybe are still surrounding in my life, there is something that I count of much more value than that. So today, I guess what I'm trying to say to you is think about the things that have the most value in your life. Consider those things that have the most value in your life. And as he would say a little bit later, in this same letter, in Philippians 4, he would say, there are things you need to think on. Think on these things. So you got an assignment today, and I want you to consider it, is think on these things. You don't have to write it down on paper. You don't have to make an actual physical list. But remember and think on the things that are most important in your life. And maybe your list will be somewhat like Paul's. Because you know what he thought about and what he considered of highest importance in his life. He wanted to know the Lord, the power of his resurrection, and count other things of much smaller value. Hey, get your values straight and enjoy the day. It's a beautiful time of the year. Notice coming in today, a few trees are beginning to change their colors along the way as the length of the days and the angle of the sun changes, and the chlorophyll or whatever that's in the leaves that makes them change their colors and all changes. It is a marvelous time of the year, and I hope it's one that you're enjoying greatly. So enjoy the day, and I hope it's a blessing to you, and you in turn are a blessing to others. Thanks for being with me today and sharing a little time in my little world, and we'll share some more a little further down the road.